What's happening, folks? Coach Johnson here. Today I'm talking about the 6 habits of lean people and how you can use this information to get yourself on track or back on track or find a track or backtrack or whatever it is you need to do. So the first thing that people who are consistently lean will find themselves doing is they exercise on a regular basis. Now, as you know, exercise is not the most important part of being lean, but it does matter. And more importantly, it's good for your overall health, your mental health, physical health. But they don't do it in spurts. They don't go through a 3-week, blitz of exercise and then drop it for 4 weeks and come back to it. Now people do that, but consistently lean people don't do that. They exercise on a regular basis. And again, what exercise? Whichever ones they like, the ones they're going to do. Maybe it's racquetball. Who knows? So that's the first one. The second one, and this one you guys hear me harp about all the time, is they stay aware of their body stats. And that means they know what their weight is, what their pant sizes are, or whatever's important to them. They don't let things get out of control. They don't be like, oh, I don't have a scale in my house because it makes me feel bad. That's, in my opinion, an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. Because I don't know about you, but there's been a few times when I didn't have a scale around where I don't step on one, and all of a sudden I step on one, and all of a sudden, whoa, I'm 12 pounds heavier than I was before. How did that happen? So whatever body stats are important to you, waist measurement, other than your height, you should know that too. Weight, clothing sizes, just keep track of it. Keep track of it. Now, this is another one that is a real secret that people don't get, and they fight the trainers on a lot. And that is they eat very similar foods most of the days. So just like exercise, you gotta find something you like. So you find some nutrient-dense foods that you enjoy and buy a lot of them. And keep it handy. It doesn't mean you never eat out or you don't ever, but people who are like, well, I've had clients like, well, I really struggle because I'm a foodie, or I'm a snob when it comes to food or whatever it is, and I don't like to eat the same thing every day. And you can certainly manage that, but that makes it more complicated. However, I will tell you that with today's technology and the food apps that we have, it's not that big of a deal as long as you track it. So, one of the tips is eat similar foods every day. It makes life a lot easier. All right, now let's talk about this one. How do they know how to control their hunger? Now, back in the old days of training, when I started, it was very fashionable for trainers to tell their clients to eat 6 meals a day. And that the rationale was that it'll keep your metabolism boosted because every time you eat, your metabolism spikes, which is true. However, the spike is relative to the amount of calories a meal consumes. So if I want a metabolic boost and eat 500 calories in a meal, I would get the same amount of overall metabolic boost if I ate 250 calorie meals. In my opinion, the real reason that this was a thing was because back in those days, high-carb, low-fat diets were really the thing. Tons of rice and chicken breast with no skin. And the challenge is for most people when they eat a high-carb diet is that the insulin spikes create a lot of variance in hunger. They'll be hungry and they'll eat, something sugary. By sugar I mean carb heavy, and then all of a sudden the insulin kicks in, it drops the blood sugar down, the hunger comes up. So the high volume of meals was very useful to keeping those hunger spikes under control. And now everybody's going to be a little bit different in this regard. But what you should do to keep your hunger under control is just make sure you're not in a situation where you find yourself super hungry and you're nowhere near anything you can eat. Like you went to work, you didn't pack a lunch, or you don't have or you're like, you're not going to get a lunch break that day because you got this big project due. Well, bring some snacks in. Very important, keeping the hunger under control. Next one, they prioritize the meals and the workouts. Basically, the exercise and the food intake is something they prioritize. It's not an afterthought. It's not like, oh, I'll work out if I have time when I finish work today, or I'm going to meal prep if I get around to it. People who are consistently lean make this a priority to them. To the extent where it becomes a habit, it's not even a big deal anymore. So, and this is a sometimes uncomfortable process because most people don't do this. Most people just work out when they have time. And I'll tell you, time is kind of like money. You don't find time. You have to make it. So you look at your list of priorities. Hopefully you write that down and say, well, I'm not where I want to be physically, my fitness level. So I need to prioritize getting my food ready ahead of time. So I'm not in a situation where I'm starving and the only thing to eat is McDonald's, and making sure there's enough time for exercise to build that lean tissue, keep that metabolism spiked, get the heart and lungs working right, all that stuff. So prioritizing the food and the workouts is pretty important. Here's another one. So this is the habits of people who are consistently lean or stay lean most of the time, is if they do fall off track, they get back on track. They don't go, well, crap, I've gained 4 pounds. Screw it. Let's have a buffet. Let's order a large pizza and some breadsticks. When they find themselves falling off the wagon, they get back on the wagon. Not a big deal. So let's review. 6 habits of lean people. They exercise on a regular basis. Again, what exercise isn't that important, but they do it consistently. They stay aware of their body statistics, how much they weigh, how big their waist is, things like that. They tend to eat very similar foods most days. Obviously they go out once in a while, but daily is pretty much the same. They learn how to control their hunger, either through how often they eat, what kind of foods they eat, or staying ahead of the curve. If they're going to have a change in schedule, that's not going to allow them to be close to their food. They prioritize the workouts and meals so that it is one of the things that is done first, or maybe not in order, but it's like, I'm going to make sure I get my workouts in. I'm going to make sure I get to class. I'm going to make sure that I have my food prep done. I'm going to make sure I open the fridge and there is healthy, nutrient-dense food, not just, some Kool-Aid and some Twinkies. And when and if they fall off track, they get back on track very quickly. They don't wait until the weight is piled back on before they go, well, I guess it's time to lose this 30 pounds I gained. Again, guys, I've done this. I've gained weight. I've lost weight. I've lost 30 pounds I've lost 25 to 30 pounds on several occasions in my life. My first weight loss when I was younger, I lost like 75 pounds and went from being somebody who was really, really fat to an athletic individual. I started training martial arts. So throughout my adult life, I've always been athletic. So it wasn't like I was ever gigantically fat, but there's definitely times where I let myself go. And I look in the mirror, I'm like, woof. Or actually what usually does it is when you see a picture of yourself that you didn't plan on taking, someone else took it, like holy moly, that's terrible. So you get off track, you get back on track. But I will tell you, by consistently tracking your food, consistently tracking your stats, keeping healthy food around, making sure you're working your save time, put time away from working out, you're going to have a lot better success rate. All right. Now, if you enjoy the content you're getting, if you find it useful, if you find it helpful, do a couple things for me. Subscribe to the channel, share this video with somebody who needs this information, hit the like button on the video, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified when I have new content coming out. Those things will help me help other people. So Coach Jay out. Have a fantastic day. I hope you guys are having a great week, day, year, whatever it is. You're getting value from not only my videos, but you're finding value with quality people. Stay safe. Take care.